Hi everyone and welcome to our next lesson, Compare Fractions with the Same Numerator, Lesson 9.3. Our Unlock the Problem says Marcos is at Athena's cafe. He can sit at a table with 5 of his friends or at a different table with 7 of his friends. The same size spinach pie is shared equally among the people at each table. At which table should Marcos sit to get more pie? So it wants us to model the problem, and it says there will be 6 friends sharing pie A or 8 friends sharing pie B. So Marcos will get either 1/6 or 1/8 of a pie. It wants us to shade 1/6 of pie A. Okay, so let's shade this piece. And it also wants us to shade 1/8 of pie B. We can shade this piece. Which piece is larger? Well, if you look at it, 1/6 is larger to 1/8. So our mouth, our sign, would eat the 1/6. So Marco should sit at the table with 5 friends to get more pie. Which pie has more pieces? Well, if we look at the picture, we see that pie B has more pieces. And it says the more pieces a whole is divided into, the smaller the pieces are. So do we see how even though this has more pieces, the pieces are smaller than pie A? And for problem 2, it says which pie has fewer pieces? Well, pie A has fewer pieces. The fewer pieces a whole is divided into, the bigger the pieces are. Now, it wants us to use fraction strips. It says on Saturday, the campers paddled 2/8 of their planned route down the river. On Sunday, they paddled 2/3 of their route down the river. On which day did the campers paddle further? It wants us to compare 2/8 and 2/3. It says place a check next to the fraction strips that show more parts in the whole. Okay, well, the red right here is just showing us what one whole looks like. And then we have 1/8 and we have thirds. Well, which one has more parts? It would be 1/8. So we'd put a check mark next to 1/8. Now it wants us to shade 2/8. So we're going to shade 1, 2. Then it wants us to shade 2/3. 1, 2. If you look at the fraction strips, the 2/3 is way bigger than the 2/8. So 2/8 is less than 2/3. The alligator mouth would eat the 2/3. So the campers paddled farther on Sunday. Now we're going to skip down to the share and show. For number 1, it says shade the models to show 1/6 and 1/4. We see that 1/6 has more pieces than 1/4. But let's look at 1/6. Here's 1/6. Here's 1/4. Which one is bigger? Well, the 1/6 is bigger. So we would say 1/6 is less than 1/4. The alligator mouth would go towards the 1/4. Now, it says compare, right? Less than, greater than, or equal to for problems 2 through 7. Remember it said the bigger, the numerators are the same. We're looking at the denominators. The bigger the denominator, the smaller the pieces. So 1/8, the pieces are going to be smaller than 1/3. So we would do, the alligator mouth is going to eat the 1/3. So 1/8 is less than 1/3. For number 3, the numerators are the same. So we're going to look at the denominators. We see that we have 3/8 over here. Well, the 8ths pieces are going to be smaller than the 3/4 pieces. So 3/4 is going to be greater than 3/8. So the alligator mouth is going to eat the 3/4. For number 4, we have 2/6 and 2/3. The thirds pieces are going to be bigger than the 6th, so 2/3 is less than 2/3. The alligator mouth is going to eat the 2/3. For number 5, we have 4/8 and 4/4. Well, if we look, the 8 pieces is going to be smaller than the 4th pieces. And also, 4/4 equals 1 whole. So we're going to say 4/8 is less than 4/4. So the alligator mouth is going to eat the 4/4. For number 6, we have 3/6 and 3/6. Those are the same. So we're going to put the equal sign in the middle. Now number 7 is a little different because we have 8/4 and 8/8. Well, we know 8/8 is 1 whole, but if you remember from past lessons, if the numerator is bigger than the denominator, that means there's more than 1. So 4/4 would be 1. 8/4 would be 2. So 8/4 is greater than 8/8. The on your own, this is the exact same as what we just did. Remember, if the denominator is the same, you just look at the numerator, and whichever one has the bigger numerator is greater. If the denominators are different, so if the bottom number is different, whichever denominator is smaller is going to be bigger because the pieces will be bigger. So we have, for problem number 8, 1/3 and 1/4. Well, since the numerator is the same, we're looking at the bottom. 1/3 is going to be bigger than 1/4. And this was for number 8. For number 9, we have 2/3 and 2/6. The denominators are different, but the numerators are the same. So 2/3 is going to be bigger. Now, I want to teach you a trick that will help you also solve these problems. It's called the butterfly method. So let's go back to the example 2/3 and 2/6. I call it the butterfly method because you end up making an almost like an X, which ends up looking like butterfly wings. So you always go diagonal. So 2 times 3 equals 6. 2 times 3 equals 6. Oh, sorry. I just realized my mistake. It's not a 3. It's supposed to be a 6. Silly Miss Buchanan. Sorry about that. So 6 times 2 is 12. Well, this side equals 12 and this side equals 6. So 12 is greater than 6. So that's why 2/3 is greater than 2/6. Now, I want to try that for problem number 10. I'm going to try the butterfly method. 4/8 and 4/2. If I do the butterfly method and do 8 times 4, I have 8, 16, 24, 32. And then I have 2 times 4, which is 8. Well, which side's bigger? The right side. So our sign we would put here is that 4/8 is less than 4/2. Number 11. If I have 6/8 and I have 6/6. I'm going to do the butterfly method again. 6 times 6 is 36. And you always go bottom to top and then you write your answer over here. 8 times 6. Well, you have 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. So which side is bigger? The 6/6. So we would say 6/8 is less than 6/6. Another one, number 12. We're going to do the butterfly method again. I have 1/6 and I have 1/2. I'm going to start at the bottom and go across. So 6 times 1 is 6. 2 times 1 is 2. Which side's bigger? The 6. So we're going to say 1/6 is less than 1/2. And the last one is really easy, but I'm still going to show you with the butterfly method. So we get just a little bit more practice. 7/8 and 7/8. We would get 56 and 56. So these two are equal. So we would put the equal sign in the middle. We are going to do one more problem, and that is James ate 3/4 of his quesadilla. David ate 2/3 of his quesadilla. Both are the same size. Who ate more of his quesadilla? So we're comparing 3/4 and 2/3. You can use the picture that they give you and color them in, or you could do the butterfly method. If I do the butterfly method, I have 4 times 2 equals 8, and 3 times 3 equals 9. So 3/4 would be greater than 2/3. So who ate the most? It would be James. This is the end of our